Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television and radio talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zone, as we get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television, Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. You can also find us on the radio, the biggest country station in South Carolina. That's WZLA. They're 92.9 FM on the dial. And we appreciate them giving us an opportunity as well. You can still find us on all the social media sites. We do all of that too. And continue sending email. You know, I'm just an email junkie. Email Donna at donnasedge.com. Donna at donnasedge.com. Got my friend AP Steadham with me. Been doing the show here at least 10 years. And so you're getting pretty popular up here in this neck of the woods now. So appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much, South Carolina.
Well, you were out of the town. You were out of Alabama.
I was, and I ran into Dabo Sweeney. I ran into Dabo. I was in Las Vegas at the National Football Foundation College Football Hall of Fame induction. So I saw Dabo there and Woody McCorvey, that's his right-hand man with South Carolina, with Clemson. And we spoke for a while. And they're going to be playing in that bowl game, the Pinstripe Bowl, up in New York City. And Donna, just a fact about Yankee Stadium, that was built for football as well, but they do not like to play any games until after the baseball season is over. And I think that's a loss, because imagine playing a game up there in September when the weather was real nice, a big matchup, two intersectional teams from across the country. That would be awesome. People go to New York City and Manhattan. I think that'd be a big game up there, but that's the policy at the moment. Yeah.
Policies change. Different things
yes,
going on.
It sure can.
So tell me more about this weekend. What was Dabo Sweeney? What was he talking about?
Oh, yeah. We just mentioned, they're playing in the bowl game, and, he's trying to turn things around, of course. But what we saw down up there was the induction of Nick Saban. So I had a chance to interview him, and people can watch that interview. I was sitting at the table right next to him. We spoke about his induction to the College Football Hall of Fame. I asked him some interesting questions. And then we interviewed Greg Carr, the All-American linebacker for Auburn. He's an orthopedic surgeon in Birmingham. So he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. I also had a chance to interview Terry Henready, for those who know that name in college football. That's probably one of the first names I ever knew. Donna, he was a quarterback of Notre Dame way back in '66. He was a sophomore, played in that famous game against Michigan State where they tied. And on the '68 team, he was an All-American. And then I interviewed Dennis Thurman out of USC. He was a defensive back. His coach with the Dallas Cowboys was Gene Stallings, defensive backfield coach. Okay. So Dennis is assistant coach at the University of Hawaii, which will play California in the Hawaii Bowl. So we had a chance to run into other coaches and people in the world of college football as well. So that was during the week in Las Vegas. That bank was 2,000 people down. They used to hold it at the Waldorf Astoria. Then I came home and I went to New Orleans, and we were at the LSU men's and women's basketball game. LSU beat a good SMU team, the men's team. And the first game was a doubleheader, and LSU women, coached by Kim Mulkey. She was an All-American assistant coach. She was at Louisiana Tech for almost 20 years. She brought her former team, alma mater, to New Orleans to play in the Smoothie King Center. Right there in New Orleans was a doubleheader, so they won that game. So it was a nice week of college football, college basketball. Then I was at the Saints game, and they upset the Carolina Panthers, who were leading the division. And so that was a fun day as well on Sunday. So it was packed and filled, and I'll be back to New Orleans this weekend for the Saints game versus the New York Jets, and also the Indiana Pacers versus the Pelicans. But, Donna, and we'll discuss this, I'm going to take a pause here. We have the college football playoff games coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday.
And we're ready for that. Absolutely. So, okay, now who do you think is going to win?
Oklahoma hosts Alabama. They played earlier in the season. I think it was the ninth game, I believe. Alabama came up on the short end by a couple points, 23-21 in Tuscaloosa. They had 3 turnovers, which definitely contributed to the loss. Credit to Oklahoma. One of the interceptions went back 87 yards down. If they had tackled them at the point where the ball was intercepted, it would have been fine. You could have played defense, maybe had them punt the ball, would have been a short field, maybe come back and score a touchdown. But they ran that ball back 87 yards for a touchdown. Oklahoma had just slightly over 200 yards down it, and they won that game by scoring 23 points. The 3 turnovers contributed to 17 points for the Sooners. So Alabama needs to block better for their quarterback, because I think Ty Simpson, if he has time, he's a very good high percentage quarterback. He's accurate. He can find his receivers. But Oklahoma's the number 1 team, rushing the passer, tackles for a loss, all those disruptive things that offensive coordinators hate to face from the opponent. So they're playing in Norman. Alabama went up there last year, scored only 3 points, different quarterback, of course, but they've had Alabama's number for a while. Alabama's only won twice in that series, Don. It's 5-2-1, favoring Oklahoma. They won way back in the Orange Bowl, 1963, when President Kennedy was there, and Joe Namath was a sophomore in the Orange Bowl. And then they beat Oklahoma in the playoffs and down in the Orange Bowl a few years ago. Kyler Murray, the Heisman Trophy winner, was the quarterback for Oklahoma, but Alabama won that game. So those are the 2 wins. They tied in the Blue Bonnet Bowl, and that was during the era right before Alabama went to the Wishbone. So that was I remember that game. I remember watching that game. It was 1970, New Year's Eve, and they tied. Alabama missed a game-winning field goal at the end, a short field goal. They shanked it, but and Oklahoma was running that Wishbone. So, but Mateer, the quarterback for Oklahoma, he's not spectacular statistically, but he makes some nice third down plays, which he did in Tuscaloosa. Ty Simpson and company, if they can block better and give Ty some time, I think Alabama has a very good chance to win. Alabama's favored in this game, Donna, by 1.5, believe it or not, even though they lost at home to Oklahoma. So Oklahoma's defense is very good. Offense is suspect for Oklahoma. So if Alabama can continue to play the good defense that they have in the past few games, they have a chance to win on the road. But Oklahoma's a good team. They're ranked ahead of Alabama in the playoffs, number 8. Alabama's number 9. So we shall see.
It could come down to the kicker. Who's got the best kicker?
Well, funny you mentioned that. Oklahoma, I voted for their kicker for the Lou Groza Award, the best kicker in the country. Hit 3 or 4 50-yard field goals in the Tennessee game on the road, Donna. Alabama's kicker is shaky at the moment. But, as I say, it's that day, that moment.
It sure is.
That day, that moment, yeah.
Has a lot to do with the weather, too. You know what the weather forecast is in that area?
I think it's going to be probably a little cool, I would think. I don't think I checked that weather, but Oklahoma, be up there on the plains and that flat country, that wind blowing, probably be windy at the very least, I would say. Yeah.
Well, it could be depending on the kicker and how the wind blows.
Could be. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you brought up that kicker because he was very impressive. Like I said, I voted him the best kicker in the country on my ballot for the Lou Groza Award. I ran into the folks from the Lou Groza Award in Las Vegas, actually. I told them. Yeah. So that's one game. The other game involving the SEC team is Ole Miss hosts Tulane. Now, Donna, they played early in the season. That score was 45-10, Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have to play horribly to lose that game. Might be competitive, but, you beat this team by 35 points, Tulane. Now, both teams, interestingly enough, Pete Golding, the newly named Ole Miss coach, defensive coordinator, will be on the sideline for Ole Miss. John Summerall, the new coach of Florida, will coach Tulane. That's his team that he led all season. He's the head coach, but he's going to coach his team, even though he's the new University of Florida coach. So I suspect Ole Miss should win this game. When you win by 35 points and you hold the other team to 10 points and you score 45, I'm not looking for Ole Miss to lose at home.
Probably not. No. This has been a strange year. This has been a strange year for players. It's been a strange year also for coaches.
Right.
Else.
Yep, a lot of movement. So that's one game. The other games, we have James Madison out of the Sun Belt. They won that conference. In their conference, they were rated higher than the ACC, so that's why in their playoffs. Just as Tulane is in the American Athletic Conference, they won that conference, and they were ranked higher than the ACC champion, Duke. We had the 5 losses, I believe. But Miami came out of the ACC with a berth. They're playing, Texas A&M. We got to mention that. They're the other SEC team. Miami travels to College Station. Texas A&M, Marcel Reed and Company. They're competing against Carson Beck. We know that name, Carson Beck, because he was the Georgia quarterback last year. Now he's at Miami. So I think Texas A&M should be fine in that game, take care of their business, and they would move on. But so we have A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma, and those ball games. And then the other game that we have, Donna, is we mentioned them all. Yeah, they're just those 4 games. James Madison University versus Oregon up in Oregon. That's going to be a very tough game for James Madison, Oregon, out of the Big Ten. So we have those 4 games, and they're playing to move on. And the teams that they will play next week had byes this week, so they will move on. Indiana's waiting in the Rose Bowl for the Alabama-Oklahoma winner. Texas Tech is waiting in the Orange Bowl for the Oregon-James Madison winner. And the Cotton Bowl is waiting for Miami and Texas A&M. Ohio State is waiting in the Cotton Bowl for the 3rd straight year in the Cotton Bowl. Ohio State, by the way. And the Sugar Bowl will have Tulane Ole Miss winner playing against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl next week.
Okay, this coming weekend, which is the football game you don't want to miss?
I would say out of all those games, I would say the 2, the Alabama, Oklahoma, and the Miami, Texas A&M game. And I just want to backtrack 1 second, Donna. Those games that I mentioned will be on New Year's Eve, the 31st, and January 1st. 3 games on January 1st and 1 on December 31st. So when I say next week, I really mean those holidays, the 31st and the 1st, yeah. But I would say Oklahoma and Alabama played tight. And I think Miami and Texas A&M will be a knockdown, drag-out affair as well.
Absolutely. We're going to have to go into a commercial break. But before we go into a commercial break, everybody wants to eat pizza and whatever, on that New Year's Eve night watching the football games. Why don't you go to Honey Baked Ham? And they do deliveries, by the way, and you can always get the Honey Baked Ham sandwich. And if you don't like ham, you can always go with the chicken, which is awesome. It's roasted. You can also go with the turkey. And the turkey, I normally don't like turkey that much, but I actually like their turkey. It's juicy, tastes great, and again, it's smoked and it's also roasted. So either way you want to do it. Let's go to a break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for 2 or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television Radio Talk Show. You can also find the podcast on thenewscasters.com. Continue sending email. It really makes my day when I hear from you guys. So Donna at donnasedge.com, Donna at donnasedge.com. AP Steadham is with me right now. AP, as we see it, what's going on with your show?
Yeah, Donna, this week we're going to have Leanne Herring, and she's a beauty queen. I think she was Miss Kentucky, but she is the director of recruiting for the Rebel Walk USA Today, and she's also a columnist on Saturday Down South. And Donna, she's a graduate of Brown University. So Leon's going to discuss the Ole Miss football team program. And then we're going to have Tyler Shaw from KBTX. He's the sports director. That's the CBS affiliate at College Station. So he will be reviewing the Miami versus Texas A&M game.
Mm-hmm. Well, lots of exciting things still happening, and it was in football and basketball. What are you hearing about the basketball season?
Yeah, basketball season, Donna. Alabama and Auburn both have been playing some good competition. Alabama played Arizona the other night. Arizona prevailed. That game was in Birmingham. I think that final score was 96-75, but Alabama's got one of the better schedules in the country. Might be, I would say, in the top 2 or 3 in the country probably, but they'll have a good team. Auburn has had their moments so far with their men's basketball team, and so we'll see what happens, but we're going to get into basketball. We're trying to just finish up with this college football and these playoffs and all-star games and things, but we'll be talking about the basketball very soon. But I think the state of Alabama, they're lucky and fortunate they have teams that should be in the NCAA tournament, both of them.
One more question about college football. Who do you think is going to be the reigning king? Who's going to win it all?
Who's going to win it all, right? Oh, my goodness. Well, this Indiana team, Donna, I've been high on them all along. By the way, Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from South Florida, he's Cuban, and he played at the University of California. I saw him play against Auburn, and I was impressed with him that day, and I had a chance to visit with him. So he won the Heisman Trophy, and Indiana has a very good team, good receivers, and the coach, Kurt Signetti, Donna, he's won the Coach of the Year nationally 2 years in a row. That rarely happens. I don't know. I have to check that out, Donna, but I don't know how many times that has occurred Rare. I think it's rare, very rare. But he's the number one team. They beat Ohio State, who I had number one all year. I had Indiana right up there with them. They're their number one team. Ohio State has a good team. And I've said all along for 2.5 months, Georgia is the best team in the SEC. They know how to win high-scoring games, low-scoring games, playing good defense and field position. But they have a good quarterback, Gunnar Stockton. He makes plays. He can run. He can put up 300 yards throwing the football as well. And so those three teams, to me, Donna, I believe should be considered by most people to be the reigning champ, to be the champion this year.
I'm still surprised Vanderbilt didn't make a playoff.
Right. Not enough berths, Donna. There's 12 slots. That's a political number because you're trying to include the top 5 conference champions. And like I said, the ACC, their champion, Duke, did not make the playoffs, even though they won the championship fair and square. But Miami didn't make it out of the ACC, so that's odd in and of itself. Miami didn't even make the championship game. And the champion, Duke, staying home. And they were not ranked above James Madison University or Tulane University. Tulane out of the American Athletic Conference, James Madison University out of the Sun Belt Conference. So this is the document that was presented to everybody for agreement, and this scenario happened. Nobody projected this. There's no way at the beginning of the season you're thinking, well, James Madison and Tulane will be in the playoffs over a team from the ACC champion, and Notre Dame was left out. So Vanderbilt had the loss by 3 points to Texas. Texas took a huge lead. They came back. It ended up with a 3-point margin, and they lost by 14, 30-16 at Alabama. They made some mistakes down in Tuscaloosa. So if they were able to win one more of those games, Donna, you would be discussing Vanderbilt in the playoffs instead of Alabama.
Do you think it's going to hurt them? Do you think they're going to feel the little bump because they didn't make a playoff game for next year?
Oh, I'm sure they do. But Donna, it's 12 slots, and everybody knows how they can achieve that goal and earn a berth. And Vanderbilt fell short, as well as other teams, including Notre Dame and Texas. So there's a lot of disappointment in Austin, Nashville, South Bend.
Yeah, well, Notre Dame, I'm saying they took it pretty hard, didn't they? Kind of bow out.
Oh, they took their ball and went home. Yeah.
Sorry.
They took their ball and went home. Yeah.
This reminds me of when I was in the 2nd grade, and we would be around, outside playing. Somebody would get mad and take all their marbles and go back home.
That's it. They took all the marbles, went home to South Bend. They ain't going to whine about it. But my thing was, Donna, 20 years from now, you look back and you're on that team, you're going to say to yourself, gee, we could have stayed together another couple weeks. We could have celebrated one more time with our teammates, went somewhere, won another ball game, won 11-2, won another bowl game for the University of Notre Dame, Fighting Irish. But they said, no, we want to celebrate Christmas. We want to preserve our team, the 10-2 record. And like I said, there's always disappointment in playoffs and who's selected. This is not going to be the first time somebody's disappointed. So this idea that we're disappointed, we're going home, taking our ball, but we want to be included in all the big decisions because there's 10 conferences, plus Notre Dame is an independent, and then the other independent, University of Connecticut, there's only 2 out of the 136 FBS level schools playing football. So here you are right in the thick of it, wanting a seat at the table, and then when you didn't get your way, you went home.
Well, a lot of people will ask, what would Paul Bear Bryant, Coach Bryant, have said about things? What would Gipper have said?
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, when you sign up for that agreement, Donna, it's in black and white. And that's the judge, I forgot his name, your signature is not an ornament.
Mm-hmm.
You wrote down your signature. You agreed to this system.
Uh-huh.
So Notre Dame, you could have said, no, we don't agree to the system and backed out. But no, you took your ball and went home. So you, instead of helping these bowl games that are counting on you, let's face it, the bowls count. The bowls that are not involved with the playoffs, they're counting on the good teams to remain in the system, and you just backed out. So I just think it's very selfish. That's fine. You want to preserve your record, but people are counting on you to show up. Maybe the Gator Bowl is saying, hey, we're going to get Notre Dame because they're not in the playoffs. Oh, no, we're not. We're not getting Notre Dame. They went home.
So that's what I would say. I mean, if an employee.
So yeah, that's nice. They came up with the rule and try to smooth things over and say, oh, well, we want to celebrate Christmas with our family and go home, preserve this record. Yeah, that's great. But that's selfish. But that's the world. That's the world we live in, Donna. Everybody, it's accepted and it's tolerated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then we wonder why things turn out the way they do.
And there's two teams that had to pay a penalty. I think it's Iowa State because their coach became the new head coach of Penn State, Matt Campbell, and Kansas State. They had a change at the head coaching position. They elected to stay home, and they're paying, I think, a fine of $500,000 to their conference. See, Notre Dame's not in a conference. They don't want to be in a conference because they want all the money. They do not want to share. And they were mad at the ACC for promoting Miami. Well, Miami's in their conference. Why wouldn't I promote Miami? If they're I'm the ACC commissioner, why wouldn't I promote Miami from our conference? Yeah, you play a few games against our teams, but you're not in our conference. You didn't agree to be part of our conference and share all the money. Maybe some of it, but you weren't a full member. You did what was convenient for you. You want everything convenient for you. But if I'm the commissioner, I'm promoting Miami to get into the playoffs. They're in our conference, a full-fledged member. You do it out of convenience because you need to schedule games and try to get into the playoffs with a representative schedule. To improve your strength of schedule. Yeah. So this idea about Notre Dame and we didn't get in the playoffs and we didn't like what the ACC did and we're mad and you damaged our association with the ACC. You know what I tell them, Donna? You can always try to go to another conference and see if they'll agree to all your demands. Right. I don't think so. I don't think so, Donna.
When somebody puts demands down for me, I generally go the other way. I'm like, forget you.
Yeah. I mean, that's a one-sided view from Notre Dame. You're getting all the money every year. You're in the playoffs last year. You received all the money. You didn't share it with the ACC.
True.
So why should the ACC promote you over their own full-fledged member who pays the dues and all the entrance fees and must pay the exit fees in the event that they want to leave? And abides by the rules of the conference. Yeah, but Donna, they come to the podium and the microphone like everybody's supposed to shed a tear for them. Mm-hmm. It's amazing, and they say it with a straight face. They say it with a straight face, Donna, too, with a straight face. They're telling you about their woes.
You and I are not going to do that. AP, we got to go. Thank you so much for being with me. As always. Yeah. Hope you have a good time.
Oh, thank you, Donna. Oh, that was fun. We'll be back, and we'll be back next week. Look forward to it. Yeah, we got off on a little tangent there, but it needed to be said.
Sometimes you have to say it. Okay, AP, we got to go. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time around.
I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of My Pillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all My Pillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98, or our 6-piece towel sets just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free.